Commander Zixthor had seen many foolish decisions in his 3 centuries of service to the Galactic Council, but nothing compared to the magnitude of stupidity displayed by Captain Vren of the Korthax Empire. You did what? Zixthor's translator struggled to convey the appropriate level of horror in his voice as he stared at the reptilian captain through the holographic display. Vren's scaled features twisted into what passed for a smile among his species. We captured 27 human juveniles from the colony ship Horizon's Promise. Their government will have no choice but to surrender the disputed systems. It's a perfectly logical tactical— Logical? Logical? Zixthor's forearms flailed in distress. Have you learned nothing from the archives? Did you skip every single briefing about humanity? The Korthax captain's confidence wavered slightly. The humans are soft, Commander. They value individual lives over strategic objectives. This makes them weak and predictable. Zixthor wanted to reach through the hologram and strangle the fool. Instead, he took a deep breath and accessed his datapad with trembling appendages. Let me educate you on what you've just done. Computer, display human conflict archive, subsection, children in danger. The hologram shifted, displaying historical data that made Vren's scales pale to a sickly gray. The Xerion Hive learned this lesson 40 cycles ago, Zixthor began, his voice cold. They took 5 human children during a border skirmish. Do you know what happened? Vren remained silent. The humans stopped fighting the war they were currently engaged in. They stopped their internal political disputes. They stopped their economic competitions. Every single priority became secondary. Zixthor's eyes blazed. Within 1 solar rotation, 17 human battle fleets appeared at the Xerion homeworld. Not at military outposts, not at border stations, at their homeworld. The historical footage played across the display. Massive human warships, their hulls painted with symbols Vren didn't recognize. Images of young faces. The humans didn't even bother with standard protocol, Zixthor continued. They sent one message. Return them unharmed or we reduce your civilization to atoms. The Xerians, arrogant like you, refused. They believed their planetary shields could withstand anything. Vren watched as the human fleet unleashed weapons that shouldn't have existed, prototype technology, that violated 3 different galactic treaties. The Xerion shields lasted 4 minutes. The humans carved through their defenses like they were tissue paper, Zixthor said quietly. They deployed soldiers who fought for 72 hours straight without rest. Mothers and fathers who left their civilian lives, strapped on armor and became demons incarnate. By the time they retrieved those 5 children, the Xerion military had ceased to exist as a functional entity. But surely, I'm not finished. Zixthor's tone could have frozen methane. Let me tell you about the Kryn Confederacy. They made your mistake 50 cycles before that. Took a human child as a war trophy. Do you know what the humans did? He didn't wait for an answer. They hunted down every single Kryn commander involved. It took them 3 years. 3 years of patient, relentless tracking across 40 star systems. They didn't care about treaties, borders, or diplomatic immunity. One by one, those commanders disappeared. The Kryn eventually returned the child unharmed and begged for mercy. The humans accepted their surrender, but the message was clear. Touch a human child and there is nowhere in the galaxy you can hide. Vren's breathing had become shallow. But these are just juveniles. They're not even contributing members of society yet. Zixthor laughed, a bitter sound. That's what makes them dangerous, you fool. You've touched something that humans value more than their own lives, more than their territories, more than their pride. He pulled up another file. Humans have a saying, hell hath no fury like a protective parent. Their biology is unique. When their offspring are threatened, their bodies flood with chemicals that suppress fear, amplify strength, and eliminate hesitation. They call it mama bear syndrome or papa wolf mode. They become, quite literally, unstoppable forces of nature. The display showed human biology scans during such states, elevated cortisol, adrenaline levels that would kill most species, pain suppressors flooding neural pathways. And it's not just the parents, Zixthor added. Human social structures mean that every adult considers themselves responsible for every child. You haven't angered 27 sets of parents. You've angered an entire species. Vren's scales had turned completely white. What? What do I do? You return those children now, unharmed, not a scratch, not a bruise, not even a frightened memory if you can help it. Zixthor leaned forward. You grovel. You apologize with every fiber of your being. You offer reparations so massive they'll bankrupt your empire. And you pray that they're feeling merciful. But the strategic advantage is worthless, Zixthor roared. Those disputed systems? The humans will give them to you freely if you return their children safely. They'll throw in a dozen more systems as gifts. But if you harm those children, if you traumatize them, if even one child has nightmares from this, he paused. Your species will become a cautionary tale in history texts. The civilization that poked the human mama bear and ceased to exist. A new alert flashed on both their displays. Vren's face fell further into despair. 43 human vessels just dropped out of FTL at the edge of your system, Zixthor read. They'll be at your position in 6 hours. He looked at Vren with something almost like pity. You have 6 hours to do the smartest thing you've ever done. Return those children with the most elaborate apology your species can devise. Chocolate helps, apparently. They like chocolate. And if I do this, they'll just leave? If you're lucky. If those children speak well of their treatment. Zixthor's expression hardened. But understand this, Captain. You've made an enemy that would rather burn the galaxy down than let harm come to their young. The only logical move is surrender. Complete and immediate. As the transmission ended, Zixthor leaned back in his chair. Another species learning the hard way. He opened a bottle of Centaurian whiskey. He'd need it for the paperwork. In the vastness of space, 43 human warships accelerated toward their target, and aboard each one, warriors prepared themselves with a singular, terrifying focus. Behind them, millions more were mobilizing. The galaxy was about to be reminded once again. You could fight humans over territory, resources, or pride. But you never ever touched their children. That was how civilizations ended.